Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV on a wet, windy Wednesday where we once again were woeful against Man City in genuinely a shocking performance, especially with one specific player. We'll get onto that later, but I'm joined by Dan the Man Mountney and Grumpy Glenn to discuss our reactions to that return to the Prem. Project Restart really did start in quite a fashion for us, didn't it, Dan?
I think we should rename it Project Please Make It Stop. I can't take any more. That was genuinely woeful. I was saying to Glenn before we started recording this that it genuinely just wanted it to stop. I just couldn't take any more of it. We hardly saw any of the ball, didn't really create any chances, just got absolutely dominated. I thought we were okay for the first kind of 20, 25 minutes until a certain somebody was introduced to the game. But yeah, just well, I think we're always going to get beaten in that game. But yeah, it was pretty woeful all around.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn, you've also been sort of with Dan on the outspoken about how bad David Luiz is, but today was just genuinely shocking.
Yeah, obviously it was kind of enforced with the injury, but I said before we started recording, it's just the same errors played out again and again. You know, not quite keeping up with his man, turning his back, deflection into the box, and the second one, you know, again putting his hands on the player. We've seen it time and time again. Chelsea, Liverpool, on it goes.
Well, Dan, you put out an interesting tweet about David Luiz and his propensity to get red cards and give away penalties. I mean, what was that, Dan?
Well, so obviously he's only been at Arsenal this season, thank the Lord. But so far this season, he's given away penalties away at Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester City, and has also been sent off against Chelsea and Manchester City. So he did let Arsenal down in big games, let alone just generally.
But I mean, what really struck me was the genuine fear when I saw Pablo Mari get injured. I was genuinely thinking to myself, oh God, I've looked at that bench. There is no one apart from him. We have no...
Well, it wasn't a bench, was it? They were all sort of like layered up in tiers up in the stands, which I found was really odd.
Yeah. I mean, understandable. It's the way it's got to be. But yeah, I mean, you take a look at the bench. I mean, it was David Luiz and nobody else. I think Socrates had a problem. I'm not sure about Holding, and obviously James has been out for a while. But yeah, just not enough depth there at the moment, is there?
But I mean, why did Arteta not have any other reliable centre-backs? I mean, are we completely out of them? Are we at a loss of centre-backs? I mean, he only had David Luiz as the replacement for Mari. What's happened to our other centre-backs? Why do we rely upon a man that consistently and continually makes mistakes?
Well, let's be honest. I'm going to say something that we've been saying for the past, feels like 10 years. We need a new centre-back, don't we? It's just woeful. It's just honestly dreadful. The thing about centre-backs is you need something that you can't measure. Obviously, you can measure, blocks, interceptions, all that stuff. But you can't. The most important thing that you can't measure is concentration. And we've had to deal with a host of centre-backs who just don't have enough concentration. I think Luiz is probably the worst of the bunch.
I mean, Glenn, what do you think about our centre-back situation? I mean, do you think that William Saliba is going to come in next season and change things, or do you think that's just going to be a problem we've got for a long time?
Well, it's an ongoing thing, isn't it? You know, we've all said for a long, long while that we've not had the calibre of centre back that you need to have to challenge, or not even challenge, but just sort of like maintain a foot amongst the elite. Something that hasn't been addressed for a long time. It's going to take a lot of time. Now they seem the most prized possessions in global football now, acquiring a decent centre back.
Yeah,
we're going to have to see what went on at Liverpool and how he changed things. I really don't know. I mean, who'd have thought that Mustafi would be starting against City, a year ago? It's just, I don't know. I'm with you. My heart sank when we got the injury early on, and then I saw Luiz coming on. I just thought he's no good against the big clubs, is he?
No, well, he's not good at all.
But what surprises me is in our pre-mid-season game against Brentford last week, he was also culpable for a couple of goals there as well. So it wasn't expected. So why was he even on the bench?
Don't even get me started. Honestly, when I saw that clip of him trying to flick it over the striker's head, I just thought, right, nah, just don't let him play again. Seriously, why? Oh.
Well, I mean, we could go on for a long time about David Luiz, but I mean, today there was more problems than just him. He was obviously the linchpin of issues we have from conceding 2 goals. But we had more issues out there. I mean, Aubameyang didn't seem to get the ball at all today.
Yeah, but I think the problem with that is it came further back, just didn't get a grip on the game whatsoever, understandably. But
So you're saying it's a formation problem?
No, I just think A, the quality of the opposition, and B, someone who we've brought up a number of times this season for good and bad reasons. Guendouzi, I just think his work ethic and attitude is commendable, but his positional sense just drives me mad. There was times in that first half when City were starting to dominate the game where I was watching him and he was miles ahead of Ceballos, and there was just so much space in the hole for people like De Bruyne and David Silva to just go and exploit it, and that's why City took control of the game. He just needs to kind of switch on more about where he is and what's going on around him. Like, fair play to him, the way he tracks runs and whatever, stuff like that. As I say, his work ethic is commendable, but he just needs to do more.
Well, you mentioned Dani Ceballos. I thought Dani Ceballos actually showed glimpses of some ability and some positivity in our team, but he was one of the very few.
I think Glenn disagrees with that.
I do, actually. I didn't see a lot from Ceballos. I thought Willock was anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said to Dan earlier that you know, we have to remind ourselves that we're up against world-class players in every position. But I think Tierney came out of that with a lot of credit. Brave, confident on the ball. He did some stuff as you were watching it in the first half. You know, camera angle down towards our touch on as we were watching it. Just little turns and flicks. You know, he's fearless on the ball, which I think is a mark of a great player. Going back to Guendouzi, he's always prepared to take the foul or the hit and go down rather than you know, tough it out. But for me, the big positive tonight was Tierney.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, he filled in at centre back, didn't he, when Luiz got sent off, and he looked 10 times more solid than Luiz did. He just looked composed on the ball, didn't look like anyone was going to get past him. It's just good to have him back on the whole as well. Obviously, he's had a real bad season with injuries and very unlucky. So hopefully he can kick on in this spell towards the end of the season, and we'll get the best out of him next year. But yeah, I agree with you, Glenn. Positive performance from him.
So one positive performance from Tierney, a bit disappointing from Willock, Nketiah, Aubameyang.
Well, to be fair, the front players didn't have a lot of the ball, did they?
Yeah. I'm not sure Nketiah was that bad. I think obviously he was starved of service, but he looked sharp when he did get the ball, and he was causing problems when the ball did go long and he had the space between the centre backs. But yeah, just didn't get enough service, did he?
I'll suggest a similar foul on Nketiah earlier on to the same one.
Oh, my word!
Yeah. You know,
how is it not a foul?
They sort of dribbled on about, well, you know, he was making the most of it. We had both his hands wrapped around him, was pulling him backwards.
It was. I was shouting at the TV screen at that point, quite audibly, and I still can't believe it. I mean, watching the earlier kickoff, the Aston Villa Sheffield United game where the Hawkeye went wrong, I was worried that there would be some officiating errors today. I think that was a big mistake they made.
Just on that, okay, nobody's going to believe me when I say this, but I don't know why I was thinking it. But the other day, I thought to myself, obviously, you know, VAR has been a lot of the talking point about it is, but I thought, what if there's an issue with Hawkeye and that goes wrong? What are people going to say? And it happened today. I'm not saying I missed it, Glenn, but yeah, that was a bizarre incident.
Well, the funny thing is, Dan, you know, in our Premier League starved lifestyles, we've been watching a lot of Bundesliga. I've yet to see a refereeing error whilst watching any of the Bundesliga matches. Everything's been officiated perfectly and effectively all the way turns. And they didn't even have VAR to fall back on as a crutch. And yet our refereeing systems today, we had Hawkeye mistakes, with no VAR didn't do a recourse. Yeah, the Saka, the Nketiah pull down in the first half against City today. What's going wrong here?
No, it's like cue the Dad's Army theme tune, isn't it? And off we go. Britain's back.
Oh, it's just atrocious. I do have a question for Glenn, though. It's a 2-word question. Mesut Ozil. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm quite happy to draw a line under him because my inclination is that Arteta wasn't impressed about not taking a pay cut or whatever, if we can assume it was him.
Yeah.
Helen, who's by my side but off camera, said that he was going to make an announcement at some point.
He said he was going to do it after the match, yeah.
Yeah, he was going to do it after the game. I have been checking to see if anything's been said. I've not seen anything yet, so...
I tend to infer from that Arteta's had enough. And
but he said something. He said something similar about Luiz before the game, didn't he? He was asked why he wasn't starting, and he said, stuff in the past few weeks that I've not liked. So I don't know what's going on, but I like the fact that Arteta's not.
How many weeks is he looking at the last 75 weeks of Luiz at Arsenal?
I do like the fact that Arteta's, he said he'd be ruthless, and he has been, with this, even with the senior players. You look at Ozil and Luiz, and you can say they're probably the two most senior players in that squad. He's not taking any nonsense, is it?
No. But I think, earlier this season and throughout the season, we have said that Bernd Leno has been our player of the season. And my God, today he did make what could have been an absolute pasting less of a pasting.
First half especially.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for him more than anything. Like, I bet he'd just love a game where he just has a back four in front of him who just sweep up any kind of danger. He doesn't have a save to make. But he's never going to get that with this back four, is he?
I mean, you could see his discontent in the second half. They had a free kick outside the box, and there was a player who just drifted out onto the far corner of the 18-yard box, completely unmarked. And he just passed it to him. And Leno managed to sort of like say what came about it, but the first thing he saw was like, who was picking the guy up on the left? No one, absolutely no one. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friends whilst watching the game, and one of the things we kind of worked out was David Luiz relies upon the crowd to actually tell him when he's doing something wrong when there's a player coming, almost like it's pantomime, behind you. So is he just not listening to Leno, or is Leno not shouting at him enough?
Well, I'm sure if Dan was there, he'd be shouting at him a lot more. But
well, I mean, I think it was Paul Merson said that he was worried about Arsenal behind closed doors because they won't have the fans to get on their back. And when I first saw him say that, I thought, I don't know about that. But he's right,
Yeah, the other thing that amused me, some of them brought it to my attention on Twitter during the game, but there's obviously some wag with a button. But when City scored, they played the away fan celebrations.
Oh, do you know what? Don't get me started on the crowd noise. Seriously, it's so awful. I just prefer it without the crowd noise, honestly. I think I said it in the podcast last week. It's not for me. Not for me.
Well, the Etihad sounded louder than it's ever sounded before.
Yeah, we're going to do that round of jokes, aren't they? And we're going to get to the Emirates.
Yeah, let's not go there. What else did you make of the whole behind closed doors thing? Obviously, it's necessary and has to be done. But is there anything that stood out for you?
Yeah, I think there was an advert flying around. I think I tweeted to you during the game saying, keep safe, keep distant, fly to Abu Dhabi, which kind of made me chuckle. I might have misread that, so, I don't know. It was just, I noticed when City came out, they were socially distant, and Arsenal came out and sort of all huddled around each other going, it's raining.
What did you make of the criticism over Arsenal's travel plans as well? Did you hear Gary Neville talking about that?
Oh, I did. Bonkers.
Did they leave at 5 o'clock? Was it 5 o'clock?
They flew up 3 hours before the game, and obviously there was a storm going on, which is also a bit of a concern. But it's like what was it on the day of Anfield '89? George Graham wanted to drive up on the day, and everyone was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It does seem a bit mad to me, but if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
But what strikes me as quite shocking, quite worrying, is Man City have got such a wide squad, and now we've allowed to use 5 substitutes. They've got such a deep squad. We really struggled to sort of make effective substitutions. What's wrong with our squad depth? Why don't we have the depth and strength that other teams at the top of the table have?
Well, we just don't, do we?
Yeah. I mean, we're relying so much on the youngsters, and fair play to them, they're trying their best, but just need a bit more depth, don't we?
Yeah, let's just, I hope that, Arteta's in for the long haul with the youngsters. We need to get the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Tierney, but I still think we have to acquire a couple of solid, not even solid, but better than solid, holding midfielder and centre halves. I don't want to go down on, get on the back of certain players, but Willett really did look anonymous tonight. I was quite surprised.
Yeah,
we got a good goalie as well.
What did you make of the fact that Pepe didn't come on as well? That was a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking. You think maybe he's concentrating on the FA Cup? Is that a bit left field of a suggestion? But
I don't know. Not a bad suggestion.
Well, I suppose it's an easy route to get some form of European football, but it's still a very strange decision to try and not play again. I mean, because he knows City better than any other manager apart from Pep. So you'd assume that he would have had a good insight on how to play against City, how to best utilise their weaknesses. But seemingly they don't have many weaknesses. Because I don't think that Man City played particularly well today. I think they just played effectively, but they weren't world beaters.
I agree with you.
You know, we were there at Emirates many months ago now when we played the home leg.
And why are you making me think about that? Come on.
Well, you've got to draw comparisons, and seemingly City have gotten more comfortable just playing against us in a very flat pattern, and we just run around like headless chickens once again.
Serge, name a team that we've played against this season who haven't looked comfortable against us.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
Just saying.
So
yeah, I mean, our away record, when they put the stats up towards the end of the game,
that was
my word.
reading.
it was, you know, there's certain things over such a long season with the lockdown and everything, you forget stuff. Normally it trips off the tongue, doesn't it? We do the podcast every week. We're pretty much, well, you know, me less than all of you, but got most of our stats right. But when I saw that about our away record, it was kind of damning.
Yeah.
Which shows how far we've drifted from the top six that we think we are, and we should be. That we've really moved into mid-table territory now. You know, I've got a lot of Crystal Palace mates that said we're only 2 points behind you, and that's
Don't
really
worry about it.
harrowing, isn't it?
Oh. Anyway, I suppose we're having a bit negative. At least football's back. I mean, that is a positive.
Well, after tonight, I'm not sure it is.
I mean,
There was still, on a more sort of like general level, like societal values and stuff, I did find it all a bit odd, you know, when they came out and that going, is this right? Is this right? But I don't know. I suppose they'll soldier on, but I've got an inclination that after tonight's fair, maybe it's people just sort of like struggling back to fitness, and it's almost sort of like pre-seasons kind of levels of fitness and aptitude on the field. But I just think TV football might dwindle very quickly in the next few weeks.
well, I mean, we're next against Brighton away on Saturday.
Well,
So
you say away. There's no home and away anymore, is there?
well, that's in 3 days.
Depends who's doing the crowd noises.
But I mean,
Hopefully nobody.
Arteta's got 3 days to sort of get some semblance of organisation back in our squad for this. It's almost a 6-pointer against Brighton now for us.
Yeah, who'd have thought we'd say that?
What's Arteta going to do to try and bring back some positive thought and positive action back into the Arsenal team after what was quite a dejecting loss?
Well, at least David Luiz is suspended.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to be.
Every crowd is a silver lining.
Zaka looked long term as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully, Mary was just a twinge, but he's probably going to be out for a couple of weeks. So looks like we're short of centre backs, short of confidence, and short of ability at the moment.
So basically, to sum up everything we've just said in the past, 20, 25 minutes, football's changed, but Arsenal haven't.
Well, it did. I mean, I was kind of mildly excited and slightly cynical about tonight, but that was just like a blueprint of everything we've seen.
Yeah. It was. That's probably the best way you could have put it, Glenn. And I think we should probably just leave it there and just say, Arsenal hasn't changed, but football has.
I can't take any more. Please wrap it up.
If this is the new today, I just can't wait for tomorrow. So.
Yeah, we're back to the usual normal.
On that note.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll be doing another video with me and Dan going through his player ratings, where you can guarantee David Luiz is going to get a low number.